This is things you might not have heard. I'm Jacob Payne, and this morning I have for you, or whatever time this is live at 5:35 on this Friday, 8 stories in a queue from yesterday, that Thursday, where we actually had stories that we presented for you, and you deemed them as conversation. You vetted them as the good stories to talk about. They cover information, current events, pop culture, and news for politics, of course. Now, we'll explain the vetting process in a bit, but right now, just a quick reminder that our website, this is a conversationproject.com, live 24/7, all the time on the internet. Check it out for details on how we do things and the whys behind the things we do. You can also email us with your comments, concerns, and yes, your complaints at the conversation inbox at gmail.com. Liam Payne, Taylor Swift, and Taco Bell are in the news, plus five other stories that were queued up for you. Today, if I'm not said so far, it's Friday, the 25th of October, 2024. We'll explain the bidding process, as I said, in a moment, and we'll give you some context on how these stories got to be where they are. No particular order, no particular rhyme or reason, other than the fact that as we reviewed the top stories to present to you, this seemed like the best way to put them out there. So if you want to complain about the stories we have, and there are other stories that you may have seen that we didn't quite get to, that is what the email is for. That's what comments are for. We'll go through the vetting process. You'll see how this stuff works in just a bit. Let's go to headline number one. And we go, like we did yesterday, we go dire first until we go to the more positive and the whimsical going forward. Starting off extremely dire, going back to Buenos Aires, as the Argentine police have raided the hotel where One Direction lead Payne died. The story behind this one is that following that tragic death of One Direction singer Lane Payne, the Buenos Aires Argentine police have raided the hotel, Cesar Sur, Casa Sur Palermo Hotel, where he was staying. Payne reportedly died from injuries from a fall, and authorities examining surveillance footage of the gathering and documentation around what happened. His electronic devices, all the cameras around to see what's going on. Initial reports suggest Payne may have been under influence and involved in many destructive behavior incidents. Pink cocaine was a big trending topic for the past couple of days because of what we believe was in the toxicology system. We will have details on this one as more people want to know the real details, the real facts of what went down for this event. Changes may be coming in California as the DA is recommending resentencing of the Menendez brothers for the 1989 slaying of their parents. Not all are happy about this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Los Angeles County District Attorney George Casson has recommended resentencing Eric and Lyle Menendez, who have spent over 30 years in prison for the 1989 murders of their parents. Gascon's recommendation may enable the brothers to be considered for parole, a significant development following decades of incarceration of the highly publicized case. I believe they both have two counts of, they've been tried for two counts of life sentences for, so there's no parole for them all. They've been sitting in jail for 30 years, and new evidence has come to light that is bringing up all these charges. Plus, the fact that the way things are handled today and the way things were handled 30 years ago, they might not have gotten as much time if it happened today. Final decision will be based on the judge, who will determine whether the brothers qualify for a reduced sentence and potential release eligibility. Now, a lot of this is coming from the family, who are finding some new evidence about this new letter that was written, brothers talking about the sexual abuse that was being um, put upon them by their father, and saying that this was just a monster and pushed them too far. While other family members said no, they pretty much killed them for the money and they just did not get away with it. A lot of the renewed experience for this from us, the general public, is coming from essentially two competing series. One, a docudrama, one, an actual true life documentary about the actual murders, about the crime that happened in '89 and what came down from that. And some people are finding a bit more of a, let's say, heartwarming, for lack of a word, approach to it because of the way the docudrama essentially is playing it up to a real narrative as opposed to the realities of what happened and more coldness of the actual incidents. We'll see how this goes down literally in court, probably within days, because this is one that everyone's watching, whether you're a true crime aficionado or someone who remembers the case from way back. Here's an interesting story as we keep trying to find out why these drugs are worth what they're worth, and that's money wise and actual things. Another side effect, which may be a good side effect of Ozempic or Wegovy or similar type drugs, is may risk reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease. The active ingredient in that semaglutides in both drugs for weight loss and diabetes medications like Ozempic, like Wegovy, may significantly reduce the risk of Alzheimer's for people with type 2 diabetes because they're already taking for that disease. You may help with fighting other diseases. Researchers have found that the patients using semaglutides have 40% to 70% lower likelihood of receiving Alzheimer's diagnosis. The study offers promising data on semaglutide potentials and the neuroprotective effects of them, though more research is needed. It's a new drug, by the way, to understand the underlying mechanisms and ability to be working on a broader population. Is this something that works only because people with type 2 diabetes have some sort of chemical makeup that it works for them, or can you give it to someone in general and they can get it the benefits as well? We know that the weight loss benefits, the way it turns off the triggers in your brain to not feel so hungry, not feel like eating, is something that is a universal thing. Why some people who don't need the drug are using the drug for weight loss. Will the other effects actually work for them as well? More studies are needed. Headline for story number 4. This is a topic that actually hits a little bit closer to home than I want to admit, if you will. I grew up my secondary high school days and my college days in Louisiana. And something that often was go down to New Orleans for Mardi Gras because it was there. And I'm not a big fan of the city. I think the city itself is kind of dirty, kind of, and not a big fan of the city. Love the Saints, love going down to the Dome to see football games, but not exactly something I'm really looking forward to. Maybe I'll become a Houston fan. The story we're talking about is dealing with the Super Bowl itself and dealing with an upcoming appearance by Taylor Swift, who we'll mention later on in politics. But right now, she has a concert coming up to New Orleans, and the governor has ordered the homeless people to be relocated before that concert happens. Ahead of this big concert at the Superdome, the city has recently intensified its effort to clear the homeless encampments around the Pontchartrain Expressway. On Thursday, yesterday, local authorities dismantled many tents along Calliope Street in the Warehouse District, are the latest in a series of encampment sweeps, just basically rolling the homeless out of their encampments off the street so they cannot be seen. Many residents were supportive through housing and the city partnerships and nonprofits, although there are some concerns about where some of these people are staying, due to some of them having some real safety concerns and real issues with substance abuse that homeless people in particular, not the problem in general. The problem in general is a whole other issue. Now, the city wants to reduce the visible homeless people as it gets ready for major events this year and upcoming soon, including in 2025, the Super Bowl in February. It's in the Superdome, and they don't want the nasty look of all the homeless people that live in New Orleans, that live on the streets in many encampments. New Orleans is just one city with this issue. Little Rock here, Little Rock isn't all that great of a signal on that large of a city, not that large a city, but the homeless issues here in Little Rock are extremely, extremely um, dire because there's so many homeless people here, and it seems like because Little Rock is a friendly city to homeless people, a lot of people get dumped here on purpose because the city takes care of them to the best ability, including many nonprofits that actually have some affiliations with here in the state. So while the homeless problem is an issue and the Taylor Swift brings out the headline, it is a bigger issue that will be addressed on a larger scale of things. Any comments or concerns with that, please email us or comment in the video so we can have deeper discussions. If there ever was a great time for some sort of transition, even a hard one, that one is right now. We're asking you out there as viewers, as listeners, as fans of this project and things that we do, various projects inside the project, help us out. Help us join voices with other voices who want to get more news, more diverse news, more news that doesn't get overrun by the news of the day that the mainstream media has to cover because they have to, because if not, they're going to get left behind. And some of the more quirky thoughts and processes of you guys out there, what you think on some of the stories, like the videos, like the audios, like the newsletters, like our print stuff that we produce, so that more people see just how good that it is. And we can also see what we're getting at. I put out some new, fresher videos recently because I had a couple of hours and some free time to play around with. That we're able to do more things, and we're getting a lot of response from those. So from those responses, we'll be able to try to find more time to do more longer scale, more detailed things, not just the clips of things here. We want you also to share some of those things with other people so that they can see just how great we are. And I'm humble bragging here, but see how great we are and see how you think we're great. So they should join up as well and watch more of our stuff and engage with us as well and subscribe so you don't miss out on the action. This thing here is recorded live, streaming to you live. It started at 5:50 a.m. this Friday, and you get the notification that we're live. If you're up. If not, go come up in your feed, come up in your sources, what happens as you check in with what's going on, and you can catch us up on what's going on. You catch up with us, what's going on in the news or other information as we provide. Like, share, and subscribe so that we have more folks in the queue with you. The teaser story from yesterday, and we'll explain that in a bit, was the story, and it seemed like it was so long ago that I thought we actually covered it in an actual article, but it isn't. I want to make sure you know what the deal is right now currently for the Boeing strike. As union members took a vote on Wednesday and voted no, they rejected the deal with Boeing, prolonging the strike for the airplane provider. The machinist union at Boeing voted to reject the latest contract proposal, and the strike will go on for the 32,000 workers. The offer included a 35% pay increase over 4 years, but 64% of union members opposed that pay increase because they wanted more wage growth and more actual job security into the deal. Rejection puts further pressure on Boeing's operations amid ongoing disruptions to its production and to deliver schedules due to the strike. Many of its major lines are not making any planes right now, and they're already talking about another round of major layoffs, furloughs, whatever you call it, to keep the lights on for people working in a time where literally people aren't working is causing the issues. Here's one that's going to sting a little bit. We have had some battle, some backs and forth talking about a great American family, that the TV channel, which is trying to rival the Hallmark channel in its portrayal of family friendly, romance like movies, stuff like that. And there's a lot of gigs against Great American Family because they have some of those restrictions. Maybe Hallmark is not quite as pure of heart, if you will, going forward. Headline for story number 6. Hallmark did not want to cast old people, that's a quote, like Holly Robinson Peete and Lacey Chabert, a suit claims. A recent age discrimination lawsuit claims that a Hallmark executive, allegedly labeled actors like Holly Robinson Peete, who is 60 years old, and Lacey Chabert, who is 42 years old, as old people, and allegedly pushing to replace them with younger talent. The former casting director who filed the lawsuit stated that these comments reflect Hallmark's media's intention to focus on the younger demographic by phasing out its more established actors, which they have a right to do. However, Holly Robinson Peete, who I've had a crush on literally since 21 Jump Street, and Lacey Chabert, who was a baby in TV and is only 42 years old, who you would think Hallmark's demographic, are having issues. Now we've seen some very some big revivals in the careers of some people who are, let's say, older, as I get older here, who are taking up some steps into some of these Hallmark movies. They may be cheesy, they may be sappy, they may have the same plot in 12 of them back to back, but guess what? A lot of people love them, love to hate them, and watch them regardless. And saying something like Holly Robinson Peete is too old to have love in her life and do TV love, it's kind of crazy to me. Let's move on to the next story. You know what's crazy? I actually was thinking about Mexi Melts the other day. I don't know why. It just kind of popped up. It's like, why don't they make the Mexi Melt? The Mexican pizza's back. Why can't they make the Mexi Melt? For a limited time, Taco Bell is bringing back a decades menu, which will have back the Caramel Apple Empanada as dessert and more other distinct items over the decades. See how that works? Taco Bell is celebrating fan favorites with its new decades menu, introducing 5 retired items, including the club Caramel Apple. The nostalgia lineup, which spans items from the 60s, the early days of Taco Bell, to the 2000s, offers a limited time chance to get this Indian dishes such as the Mexi Melt, which I love, and the 60s style tostada. Starting in November, these items will be available in Taco Bell locations across the U.S., so check your local listings to see if you got them. Bringing back flavors that fans have missed for many, many years for limited times. Do not miss out on this. This will be hopefully the new McRib at Taco Bell. They'll bring these things back for limited times and get the nostalgia and that cash, that sweet, sweet Taco Bell cash. This is not a joke. This is not a drill. Crocs for dogs, the pet boots in pink and green sell out same day they're released. Crocs has released a line of pet-friendly footwear that quickly sold out in just one day. These dog boots, available in vibrant pink and green, are designed to mirror the classic Croc styles with adjustable straps to fit comfortably on dogs' paws. Limited availability and unique style led to high demand, sparking interest from pet owners looking for playful, practical accessories for their pets. Yes, there is some actual good to this, where pets can use some protection on their feet in the cold and the heat. That's a good thing. But your pets are judging you. Your pets also think this is silly and wonder, why am I wearing sweaters? Why am I wearing Crocs? And oh, by the way, they're 60 bucks a pop, or 60 bucks for four pair, if you will. So four pairs of Crocs for your doggy's feet is a good chunk of money. We know that pet mamas and pet daddies spend a lot of money on their pets, so this is just another drop in the bucket in most cases. But Crocs for dogs, this is not a joke. This is real, and it's so real that they sold out. They are out of stock. They have to restock the supply for Crocs for dogs immediately, right, right now, like right now. It's 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 a crock, pun intended. Let's talk about our teaser story for today. The teaser story is a story we use to tease what we are bringing up into the Conversation Project's feeds and explains what the feeds actually are. The teaser is a story, or all the stories are based in teas, if you will. And if you follow us on our feeds on Facebook, on X, and on Threads, you can engage in the stories and tell us whether these stories are worthy of talking about. Facebook.com/, this is Conversation Project, X.com/TH Conversation, and you have threads.net/ at this conversation. When you follow those feeds, every 50 minutes or so, we post news articles from various sources, and you just engage in it as you check your day forward. Here's a story that come Monday, if you deem it worthy, we'll go deeper into detail. The headline reads, Beyonce to appear alongside Harris at Texas rally. Now, yesterday, Harris had a rally that had Barack Obama, Bruce Springsteen, also Samuel L. Jackson, Mike Lee, I think, was there, and other folks there. Eminem was at a rally with Obama the other day. They had a whole span of folks going out there. Beyonce will appear today, and the rumor still out there that maybe we'll get a Taylor Swift sighting between now and election day. No, we'll see. Donald Trump is not far on the wayside with his celebrity folks popping up as well. But this is the arms race that's getting for the final days. Beyonce is showing up today. Also, Trump is going to do his appearance with Joe Rogan today. No word on whether Joe Rogan is going to step in and bring in Kamala Harris. That was rumored going forward. What we talk about this come Monday, and it has to be Monday because there's no more of these things till Monday. So what will happen is you get a chance to vote on stories like this one all weekend long. Every 50 minutes, look for the feeds, or every 50 minutes, we put out a story in the feeds. When you check your stuff in our feeds, you see what's out there. Engage, like the card says. Like, love, hate, share. The more you engage, the more you poke little buttons, when you click on things, the higher chance we have a talk about it come Monday. We'll give you 10 stories come Monday. From the top 30 or so from the weekend, we'll get over 90. So 30 or so will get a look, and 10 of them will be in the broadcast for Monday morning. Will we talk Beyonce at the Harris rally? Will we talk a surprise appearance by Taylor Swift at the Beyonce concert? That is a Harris, because it's going to be a concert. It is what it is. I mean, it is. It's there. Teasing yesterday, the reason why I felt like it was so sort of distant was the unions for Boeing rejected the deal. So we teased that yesterday. We talked about it today, and there you have it. That's how these things work. If you want to talk about Beyonce and Harris on Monday, engage in this one all weekend long so we have a chance to talk. A quick look at our spotlight sponsor, which happens to be Hostage Tape. We have talked about Hostage Tape all week long and the great things about Hostage Tape. And one of the greater things is the fact that they now have a Hostage Tape for a woman's mouth. Not that they're delicate, but they're smaller, and so they fit better for women as opposed to just a big old bulky men. So Hostage Tape is now making sure it's covering all the bases for all the sexes, the men and the ladies. Now, what is it covering specifically? Well, it's obviously covering your mouth. And it's obviously covering your mouth because it wants you to not be a hostage per se, but not be a hostage to your breathing. Breathing through your nose is the way to breathe, period. So if you're sleeping at night, or if you sleep at night, you can't get much because you're snoring, mouth is open, you're having groggy, dry mouth at night. Hostage tape is the tool, it's the key, it's the trick. So check it out today and use our affiliate link to help us out as well. Use paid nothing extra for your purchase of hostage tape, and we get a small commission for you using our to get it in the door. This is a conversationproject.com/hostage tape. This is conversationproject.com/hostage tape. Get in on great supply. And as I don't have any inside information, but I have a great just sort of sinking feeling that they're going to do a big promotion in November. And when that happens, they're going to sell out. So you'll have a chance to wait for them to restock and get more hostage tape. You might want to go ahead and get in there, get the knowledge of how good it works, how great it feels. And when that good sale comes up, jump immediately. This is conversationproject.com/hostage tape for details and to get the tape. It is offering you better sleep better today. Let's talk about the Conversation Project. A quick moment to hype ourselves up. The Conversation Project lives online at this conversationproject.com, our website home, where you can find all things Conversation Project, including the background, the origin story, the history, the holidays of the project for the Conversation Project. We'll get to holidays in the next show. So if you stick around for things you might ought to know, you'll get why that's in my mind. But you can find things from the Conversation Project's website, including links to older shows, links to older content, and links to other things to help us grow. You can find links to our other vehicles where we produce things. If this is YouTube you're watching, you can see us on Facebook. If this is X you're watching, you can see us on TikTok. You can find links to our partnership page, which along with our sponsorship page helps us take things going afloat by directly partnering up with us. We'll hype the partners in just a moment because we do that on Fridays. And you can also find just fun stuff as well. You can find links to share some of our details and find links to our email newsletter where you can talk to people directly. All that can be found directly at our website. This is conversationproject.com. So make sure you check it out today. Today, as I said, is Friday, October 25th, 2024. And a quick shout out to our partners. Cup of Coffee partners are $5 partners via the Buy Me a Coffee platform. Harold Braxton, Colby Green, Kid, and Spare Change, $1 giver is Julie Winters. $1 may not seem like a lot in the grand scheme of things. It isn't a lot, but it adds up. This is $60 directly into our coffers every month that pays two smaller bills for some of our resources, but it pays bills. And the more help we have, the more resources we can cover, the better this thing can go. So consider being a partner. Go to our website. This is the conversationproject.com/partnerships and consider being a partner today. As we said, we're done for this Friday and done for this week with things you might not have heard. Now, we'll have a weekend show called the Weekly Roundup, which will take 12 of the stories we covered this week and give you a chance to relive them in all their glory and maybe get some updates because maybe it's a Monday story that had a bunch of different changes to it. Maybe it's a Friday story that all of a sudden something massive happens to give you some updates on what's going on. 12 stories that sort of caught my attention over the weekend of stories we had, and that's coming down more or less in the same feed you're watching. So look for that in video form. It has its own podcast form. That's called the Weekly Roundup. Still Weekly Wrap Up. We haven't quite changed the feed of that yet. Also coming up in about 5 minutes, we will give you things you might ought to know, the fun stuff, the things that include birthdays, today's history lessons, and fun things to celebrate on this day. And today we get holiday themed, so you've got to check it out to see what we're talking about. Thank you so much for being a part of the family, being a part of all we do here at the Conversation Project. We cannot get anything done at all without you. Number one, you really tell us what stories we talk about. You are the stick that we roll with, and the support we get from sponsorships and from your partnerships. That is, I cannot lay in words just how much it means that you guys support us. Also, all the comments, all the likes, all the things that are popping up in social media. Thank you so much for those things as well. We enjoy it. We have some people pop up some live counts, some live comments here in the morning. I don't have a chance to do all of it. If I can afford to pay for a producer, we'll start putting those in more often. Wink, nudge. That's it. We've gone longer than we should have for this Friday, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up and do what we can so we can prep for the next show and the next shows and whatever comes about come Monday. So engage in those stories so we have a good swath of great stories to talk about come Monday morning.